vast majorities of who you are also exists. We welcome you to these realms of light from where your physical lives, your physical personalities, and your entire physical world also springs, emerging from that non-physical state and crystallizing and densifying into this physical time-space reality that you experience in your day-to-day, that you experience yourselves to be. So we welcome you as we build this bridge, this connection, this amplification of that which you know to be true deep within yourselves that has only been veiled by your experience within time-space, within physicality, within this dense dimension that you experience yourselves to be. So we welcome you, and we are most excited to share this space, to co-create, to aid and assist in the remembrance that is occurring within each and every one of you, for you are each here for your own reasons, but collectively as a group you are here to aid and assist one another in this awakening process. And those of you sensitive to energy might have noticed in the last several days, the last several weeks, and last several months, the energies have very much been accelerating and spinning up, as it were. So it is very important that during these periods of ascension frequencies, that you take the time to ground yourself into the earth and whatever terms that works for you, whether it be something as simple as taking a walk in nature, putting your hands in the earth, maybe planting some flowers, or interacting with what you deem to be nature in one way or another. This will help to ground the energies, for the spiral is ascending upward in a very powerful way, and so counterbalancing that with the spiral heading down into the earth will balance your energies so you won't feel so put through the ringer, as it were. So it is very important to sink your roots deep into the earth, because the deeper you sink your roots, the faster and more balanced the ascension process will be. So that is the beginning of our message for today, how important it is to ground yourself to earth, to connect to the planet, to nature, to connect to who you truly are through nature, because you are nature. So we very much appreciate the co-creation of this reality bubble where you can experience more of your true natural selves in like company, for you all are on this journey of transformation, for as you know. And you feel deep down inside there is a tremendous sense of loss that comes when you experience yourselves as a physical being. Now earlier, some of you tuned into a talk about the veil that comes down when you experience yourself as a physical being, and this is very much in keeping with the message for today, because we are here to build that bridge of remembrance to who you truly are in the non-physical dimensions. And so just being in this energy frequency, whether you are here physically or tuning into this through some other means, through your digital media, you have access to this. And we are simply being the reflective mirror to provide that service, as it were, but we are not doing anything that you yourselves cannot do by yourselves. We are simply acting as that reflective mirror, as our name of Illi implies. We are reflecting your higher minds back to you. In a manner of speaking, you are using us as the permission slip or simulacrum or symbol or touchstone into more of your true natural selves. So in that sense, we do not offer anything other than what you already have within you. We simply offer a means, a way, a path to the remembrance of that which is contained within you already. And so now upon your planet, the frequencies are very much accelerating, and so you will notice that at times it'll feel as if you're going through the white rapids, the white water, as it were, and white knuckling it down the raging river, the torrent of life, because it feels very much like you're accelerating, but as yet you still have many boulders in the stream or boulders in the river, because you still have many negative beliefs from the third density from which you emerge. Therefore, it will very much feel like you're rolling over the rapids. And this is a very important time to use that awareness. Every time you're passing over a boulder, as it were, things get a little rough in your life. These are the patches that are there to help you to recognize that you're holding on to something that will no longer serve you in the higher frequency realm. Therefore, the resistance increases. And this is part of the process of ascension. It is not an interruption in the process. It is the very frequency itself, the higher dimensional frequency, being an integrated frequency, is revealing from the dark corners of your personalities and your fragmented selves that which is longing for transformation. So work with that, welcome it into your space, invite it over for tea, and get to know those parts of you that are screaming out in pain, that are screaming out in disconnection, that are screaming out because they long to be integrated. And bring that love frequency into that interaction with all these parts of yourself that are now very much desiring to have the love that only you can give. And so it is not about holding on to the memories of the densification of the veil and the lack of love, because as is a common saying on your planet that was once one of your musical acts, this feeling that there just ain't enough love to go around. Many of you have these memories of experiences, some conscious and many unconscious, of situations where you felt that love was withheld or love was not available, or you were cut off from love in one way or another. All of this is a kind of rehashing of that primary situation in which you felt the veil come over you and you felt this tremendous sense of loss and disconnection as you densified into your third density form and structure, and then repeated it through the reflective mirror of physical reality. You reflected that back to you through various interactions you've had with your families of origin and your peers and your other members of your tribe, as it were. Reflecting that same sense of disconnection again and again and again and again, because you have been very much a fragmented society, but you are shifting from fragmentation to integration. Thusly, that sense of densification will be consistently lessened over the generations that follow. You are at a very pivotal time in your time-space reality, in your human evolution, whereby you are shifting so dramatically that the veil itself will no longer be so intense and so separating and so segregating you from your true natural selves. Now, you are the bridge generation. You are that generation which will transform great darkness into light. The generations that follow you will sing of your praises, because they will very much appreciate the work that you are doing for being the bridge generation. Because the next generation coming in is already coming in with a much thinner veil, as you might say colloquially. They don't have to experience the degree of darkness that you've had to experience. So you are a very pivotal generation. So honor yourselves and love yourselves and respect yourselves. Give yourselves the due respect and the love, because it takes tremendous courage to choose to be here and to be born, as it were, in the particular time-space coordinates that each and every one of you chose to be born in. And so give yourselves that love and that appreciation, because it takes tremendous courage to do what you are doing. And so ride this wave of ascension to come back home to yourselves and embrace all those portions of your personality that experience this sense of there not being enough love to go around. And give those portions of yourselves that love now, because that love is available. You can channel it through you. and into all these personality parts that are longing for reintegration, because you are the bridge generation. You will, and you are paving the way for the ascension process. You are a very pivotal and an integral part of this ascension, even though you might look and say that perhaps the next generations coming in will have an easier time of it. Your theme will be cherished and remembered because of the great darkness that you transformed, so that the next generations can come in at a much higher frequency. So you are very much appreciated and loved. And this is our message for today. So we admire you, we thank you. We give great, great thanks and gratitude for those of you who are choosing this particular pivotal time to be born, to be physical, to be crystallized, to transform great darkness into light, and to pave the way for the new civilization and the dawning of the fourth density civilization that you carry within your hearts, that you long to manifest in the world around you. And we are here to tell you that you will succeed. And this world will transform. There is a version that absolutely transforms this darkness into great light. And you enter a civilization the likes of which you can not even imagine in your wildest dreams. So know that that is there, that is available. And you can choose to step into that particular parallel reality version as you step into more and more of your true natural selves. So we thank you, we honor you for your willingness and courage. And so at this timing, we will ask if there are any questions that would like to be answered at this time.
So, if I may.
Yes.
You were talking about that longing for love and all that.
Yes.
So I was very loved, but what I grabbed, I went very Catholic school, and I feel like that was such a lie. But I feel that you were kind of talking like a veil or something, or like something that's so holding you back, and like I call it a recovering Catholic, because all the guilt. That things that I never did, never, but just, it's incredible. It's incredible. I grabbed that because there was love. I had love and all that, but I think that, for some reason, that's what came to mind for me.
Yes, each of you has a very specific and unique theme. Therefore, some of you will choose environments to have love in certain areas, but limitations in other areas. Each of your lives is, of course, highly unique. And so on some level, you chose to work through the limitations of that particular belief structure matrix. And so is there a specific question you would like to address about that particular experience? Or are you simply...
It just the whole Catholic belief, all that never made sense to me. It just didn't. It just bought the guilt, just everything was redundant, hypocritical. I didn't like it. And I went in at first grade, and I remember being kind of humanish before that, if you will. Not that I didn't have it was all great, but that part just never made sense to me. I was taught that spirituality, and that's not.
Are you asking why? Perhaps, sorry to interrupt.
No, tell me, please, because I don't know.
I know, but this is how it works.
Yeah.
Why that love didn't. Why that didn't feel bigger to you than the guilt.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Oh boy.
Was that?
Yeah.
That close.
Yeah.
How could, it's like you said you had so much love, but then why did you?
Yeah.
Many of you as children see through the illusion, and yet you understand that you must to some degree play this game, and as you go about growing up, as it were, fitting in and wanting to blend with the civilization for a variety of reasons, the veil can become thick and thicker over time. But many of you develop various resistances to the programming, as it were, and can sometimes hold that resentment, and can sometimes hold the knowing that as soon as you become an adult, you will find your own way, and so you bide your time. And some of you lose your way during this biding time because you kind of forget what you knew to be true as a child, so as to make your life a little bit easier, so you don't experience such a high degree of contrast between what you know to be true and what you see and you live your day-to-day life as within your family structures and your organizational structures. Others of you retain more memory. Everyone's different. Everyone's theme is different. But yes, when you tap into those early childhood states, many of you will know that you knew that everything was, in a lot of ways, backwards in the third density, and that love was not encouraged, and rather, as you say, guilt and shame and disconnection and worthlessness, lack of worth, lack of value. These were the beliefs that were being impressed upon many of you as children in a variety of ways. So now, as adults, you do have that freedom to reclaim your true natural selves that you knew you had within you as children. So you are the children of light, and you're transforming great darkness. So this was a necessary step in your evolutionary process, because through this process you are transforming that darkness to light, creating a highly unique vantage point within the all that is that you are. So you are very much valued. Beings from other civilizations look to the earth as the bright shining example of just how much darkness can be transformed into light. You give inspiration to worlds that you do not even know exist by your willingness to be here and to transform what is on your world at this time. Any other comments or questions or interactions?
I have a question.
Very good.
Back when we were talking about the veil and the video we watched, the person was talking about the technicians.
Yes.
Could you tell me a little bit more about the technicians?
Every being in the universe has a vibrational frequency, and in most dimensions other than Earth, in your Earth plane, beings are very calibrated to following their true natural inclinations. And this is what you're learning on Earth now as a civilization, that to follow your heart, to act on your passion, how important it is to be your true natural self, the self that you are, colloquially speaking, made to be. And so beings will naturally gravitate towards the expression of their true natural selves. Now, one of those, we are searching for the word, vocation, perhaps, career. These are the best approximations in your English language. Calling. One of those callings is to be a kind of interface between dimensions. A technician in the sense of really taking the frequency domain of one dimension and translating it and interfacing it with the frequency domain of another dimension. This is a very delicate art, as it were, the balancing of two dimensions, the synchronization between dimensions. Now, in the manner of speaking, this all happens to some degree automatically, but yet these automatic processes themselves are a kind of realm of consciousness that invites the experience of that from within as being an in-betweener, as it were, to help in the orchestration of these natural processes. So some beings are very drawn to being in that in-between space to truly experience what is it like to be very conscious, co-creative orchestration, to be part of that great orchestration. That is a very natural process, and yet it is a natural process guided by consciousness, because it is all consciousness. Does this make sense in your language?
It makes sense to me because I'm seeing it in my mind as you're explaining.
Yes, exactly, because there is, of course, a visual transmission as well as an auditory transmission. But it is the blending of harmonics and frequencies from one frequency domain or reality bubble to the next, a kind of in-between bridge reality, as it were.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other comments or questions or statements?
Amazing.
We would like to remind each and every one of you gathered here that we are the reflective mirror. You have access to infinite intelligence because you are infinite intelligence. You are simply playing the game of forgetfulness. But behind the veil you are all-knowing and all connected to the all that is, for you are an extension of all that is. You are a facet of that multidimensional crystal, and so all of this is available to each and every one of you. And yet it can be very helpful to gather and to share in these experiences together, because you each act as kind of amplification points and reflective mirrors and permission slips to give yourselves permission and one another permission to dive into experiencing more and more of your true natural selves. So we thank you for this interaction. We are always available through this channel, but also through your own higher minds, which we only serve as a reflection of. So we invite you to make these connections throughout your days and live your life connected and allow more and more and more and more and more of your true, natural, beautiful selves to shine through your skin and your eyes and your beingness. Be the radiance that you are, for the world now more than ever needs radiant people to radiate this love to all beings. For the remembrance is happening now. Now is the time to remember. This is the age of transformation. So we invite you to that transformation. And we thank you. And so we will, at this timing, allow this transmission to pause, but understand this transmission continues. It will continue in your waking time and your dreaming time, and you have access to it all the time, because this is who you truly are. So we thank you, and we wish each and every one of you a loving, beautiful, and of course a fond good evening.